First, I'm going to ask you all to give my team a round of applause. I'm so proud of each of you. You've already heard from our city solicitor, Renee Garcia, our city's chief legal officer, upon whose legal advice I have relied upon in this very important policy matter. To our solicitor and to Chief Deputy Mayor Vanessa Garrett Harley, thank you for also affirming that, like any patient who gets a diagnosis that they are not pleased with, that we did seek a second opinion. And thank you for telling us. So what's the name of the firm again? Hecker and Fink. You call them who? The
Genius Attorneys.
The Genius Attorneys, where almost all of them have clerked for United States Supreme Court justices, and I can't think of a better entity to seek that second opinion from. And the young lady, the attorney who joined us, her name again?
Carmen Gonzalez.
Carmen, I remember that meeting clearly, and again, although she's not with the firm, she made a transition and she's now with the ACLU. I believed in her then, Renee, and I believe in her now. You've heard from our subject matter experts on our DEI and procurement and contracting policies as a city. And you've heard Nadir Jones, our Director of Business Impact and Supplier Diversity. Nadir, thank you for saying yes, and no matter what happens, you can't change your mind. And to Donna Jackson Stevens, who is our Chief Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer. We are so happy to have you on our side of the team. Atif, I'm sorry. And then Chief Deputy Mayor Vanessa Garrett Harley, whose portfolio includes DE&I and economic opportunity. In a few minutes, Philadelphia, I'm going to sign an executive order. And now, let me just share a few thoughts with all of you before we get to that point relative to these issues of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Issues around diversity and economic opportunity in particular, and the awarding of city contracts are issues that I am very familiar with. Why? Because I have fought for them and worked on them throughout my career. First, as a staffer in the City Council of Philadelphia. Second, as a member of the Pennsylvania General Assembly in Harrisburg. And then during my tenure as a member of the City Council of Philadelphia, representing the 9th District, and as the Council Majority Leader, working in partnership and under the leadership of our former Council President, Darrell Clark. And now, as almost 2 years as Mayor of the City of Philadelphia. It's important for me to quickly take you on a stroll through my history because I've been here long enough to not simply listen to what people say, but to watch what they do. In Philadelphia, I need to give you a snapshot of my work, Cherelle Parker, as an elected official here in the city of Philadelphia, just a snapshot of what that work has looked like. First, I want you to think about a program called the SABRE Grant Program. $2.5 million that was operationalized by our city's Commerce Department and supported barbershops and beauty supply entities in particular who were struggling during and immediately after COVID. We operationalized that program in record time to ensure that those dollars were getting directly to the businesses and the neighborhoods and the zip codes who we know needed it most. Next, Chief Deputy Mayor Vanessa Garrett Harley, when you were giving your remarks and you talked about sort of the technical capacity of all businesses not being created equal, I thought to myself, you are exactly right. Because that's where the Power Up Your Business program that I authored during my tenure in City Council to provide a lifeline of technical support and help for neighborhood small businesses that would ultimately become the chief feeder for the Goldman Sachs 10KSB, that's their 10,000 Small Businesses program. Our Power Up Your Business program became the feeder for small business owners attempting to improve their technical capacity. What do you mean technical? Not all small businesses have an accountant on retainer. So who's managing your finances? And you're trying to run the business, but you also need some help with the books. So not all of them had an accounting. And then not all of them had an attorney on a retainer. We wanted the Power Up Your Business program to assist them peer-to-peer counseling, but providing access and technical support to them. Then there's a legendary gentleman here in the city of Philadelphia by the name of the late, great Dr. Walter P. Lomax. And for me, transparency in local government was extremely important because I said to myself, it shouldn't be a secret when it comes to figuring out who's been benefiting for generations from the ability to do business with the city of Philadelphia. And why do I have to have a PhD in technical research to try to find the data? And so when I was in council, I authored the Walter P. Lomax Transparency in Business Act that would ensure that all city contracts over $100,000, that the demographic information associated with those businesses that were afforded the opportunity, all of that would be readily available. But now that I'm mayor, I get an opportunity, where's Kristen, to make sure that that is done in a very transparent and simple way. And we will use our technology that's readily available to make sure that data doesn't go sit on somebody's shelf to collect dust. Next, I authored the foundational guidance for the diversity and inclusion program that is a part of what we now call Rebuild. That is a legendary and legacy program authored by my predecessor, former Mayor Jim Kinney. Amazing goals and objectives to help rebuild our parks, rec centers, and libraries. But while we were going through that matter in council, we needed to know how are we going to diversify the pipeline, particularly as it related to the building trades. And not just the building trades, what about professional services associated with standing up that program? I was proud to author that resolution when I was in council. Most recently, as your mayor, you just saw it with the comprehensive city program for SNAP beneficiaries that we stood up. A $14 million program to help those most in need during the crisis that we witnessed during the government shutdown as a result of us not having a federal budget. Next, improving neighborhood commercial quarters and the businesses that live and grow there. My wheelhouse, long before it was fashionable for it to be done and for people to talk about these issues. Philadelphia, why is it important for me to affirm these issues here on today? Like, for example, our FY25 budget that invested $1 million in the Accelerator Fund, which provides access to capital for developers from historically disadvantaged groups. Why? Because, smart enough to listen to one of the anchors. I can't think about these issues that we're dealing with in contracts and doing business with the city without thinking about Leon Sullivan, without thinking about Charlie Bowser, without thinking about former council member Wilson Good Jr., who made it his priority to address these issues. And then there's a lady by the name of Della Clark, who is clearly an authority here in the city of Philadelphia, who would tell me programs and training are nice, but none of it will matter if capital is not available to those businesses. In addition to that, we invested another $1 million in the Innovate Capital Growth Fund, which provides diverse entrepreneurs access to equity investments. Philadelphia, I needed to share this with you so that you know I am not new to this fight. You've heard all weekend from the chattering class about this issue. On today, I'm here to talk about our future together and how we will turn what has become a national crisis into an opportunity here in the city of Philadelphia for minority-owned businesses, local and small businesses. We are also going to formally and officially sign an executive order today, starting us on this new path. Now we need to be on this path together. And this is what I affirmed last night. Legally, we need to make a shift to be in compliance with federal court orders, including a ruling from the U.S. Supreme Court. But long before that, we've all known that the programs that we had in place were not working. Now, Chief Deputy Mayor Vanessa Garrett Harley, when you gave that, 20% of the people who were in our registry had the opportunity to do business, in my mind, I started thinking, and if you were a part of that 20%, change is probably difficult. Because when you think about the fact that only 20% were getting access to the opportunity to do business, and 80%, that means 80% of those on the registry weren't doing business with the city of Philadelphia, then you might be up in arms. Instead of being the eternal optimist and viewing this as a good thing for the city of Philadelphia, you may have already written this story. You may have already buried us before we've gotten started, and I can't do anything about that to change that. I can only tell you about what will be intentional and what will happen with this amazing team of subject matter experts. And I'm happy that Ron Holvey, our new procurement commissioner, is here with us on today. The old programs aren't working. The studies show it, and we know it, Philadelphia. They weren't working. We knew we needed to shift our strategy before it even became a legal necessity to do so. And I didn't even realize until you affirmed it, Vanessa, that, wait a minute, I'm the creator of the Office of Minority Business Success. That's a commitment that I made, Philadelphia, when I asked you to give me the honor and privilege of serving as your mayor, that would be a commitment of mine. And I created that office upon being sworn in on January the 2nd in 2024. But even as we created the office, the siloed approach that Chief Deputy Mayor Vanessa Garrett Harley very meticulously outlined for you, it was not working because the city of Philadelphia wasn't organized and structured in a way that allowed us to be prepared to deliver success, unless you were a part of the Fortunate 20. The old system is a broken system, and now it's our job and our responsibility to fix it, and that is exactly what we are going to do. The reality is Philadelphia's DEI and contracting policies are in violation of a U.S. Supreme Court ruling from 2023 in a case involving Harvard University's admissions policies. We are following the strict advice of our chief legal officer, our city solicitor, Renee Garcia, as well as the outside counsel that we affirm. Now, I didn't write those laws, Philadelphia. I don't even support them. I don't agree with them. But as the mayor of the city of Philadelphia, it is my job as the leader in this city to make sure we are governing ourselves accordingly, and that's the way we will fight. It is my job to adjust any programs or policies that put the city of Philadelphia at risk of violating federal court orders and or rulings. It is also my responsibility to ensure that Philadelphia is generating outcomes for small and local businesses that are consistent with our city's values. Donna, that's why I guess I was so glued to what you were saying about DEI representing our values. It should be embedded in all that we do here in the city. And Renee, when you mentioned that we will measure in such a way that it will be transparent and you will know what our results are. So it's my mission to help to start and grow small and local businesses in Philadelphia. It is true. And I don't want to run from this. I want to be very direct so you all are clear and no one walks away with any confusion. We are at war with the current system. We are at war with the status quo because it just was not working here in the city of Philadelphia. But to our business community, our local and small businesses here in the city of Philadelphia, help is on the way. And the individuals that you just heard from, they are the people who will lead this effort on behalf of the city of Philadelphia in my administration. As your mayor, I come to you as someone who has fought to build a seat at the table for underrepresented people every day of my career. There is no one who needs to give me a speech or have me to read a white paper on what it's like to navigate a world at the intersection of race and gender, because I've done it. Add someone who comes from a socioeconomic status that I come from, where I know what it's like to grow up on public assistance and where life for me ain't been no crystal stair. I know the struggles, and that's why my values are represented in the process and the protocols that we are going to implement that are representative in this executive order that I am going to sign. I'm not new to this fight. When it comes to women, people of color, people in the LGBTQIA plus community, I'm in this fight and I've been a part of this struggle because I wouldn't be here without it. Now, Philadelphia, some people benefited from a broken, dysfunctional system. Some people don't want us to fix the problem because the money is in the treatment and not the cure. That's a real thing, Philadelphia. If you were a part of the very small group that benefited from the dysfunction of the system, you don't want it to stop. And when I was talking to my team about, and I said this yesterday, I thought about Managing Director Adam Teal, who led our work when we were trying to build out our long-term care, treatment, and housing portion of a wellness ecosystem that didn't exist before us doing our work and attempting to address the opioid crisis and open-air drug sales and, quite frankly, the quality of life that we're working now to try to address over in Kensington. I didn't understand why people would complain when they saw that Marikey, Gaudenzia House, the Black Doctors, COVID-19 Consortium, when we think about all of the hospitals and subject matter experts in substance use disorder and addiction, when they were at the table helping us and we were connecting people to services, I kept saying to MDOT, I don't get it. Any additional resource to help the people who are most vulnerable and in need of help, I don't understand why that's not being lifted up. And then I learned a cold fact. We're fixing the problem now. And maybe some of the people who benefited financially with the broken system, they understand that the gravy train is over when we fix the system. And that's what we're going to do right now. I refuse to allow us to continue along that line. So what have we done here today? We've spent the last, I'm going to say, year and a half, but several months in particular, working to develop programs that run in line with the law, while continuing to generate outcomes consistent with our city's values. And that's fairness, that's equality, that's inclusion, and that's economic opportunity for all. Nadir, thank you for affirming what I don't like to hear people talk about. It just came from a forum I presented at, last week, and folks are talking about Harvard economist Raj Chetty's research on economic mobility that had the Philadelphia area placed 50 out of 50 as it relates to economic mobility, with the most strain being on communities that have not been invested in. Don't tell me about trying to preserve a system that didn't work. Help is on the way and we're going to fix it. Why? This work is intentional. We're going to bring a new way of focusing on small and local businesses here in Philadelphia. And we're going to do it to make it work. We're going to sign a new executive order in a few minutes outlining this new and intentional Philadelphia way of working on these issues in our city. And my promise to you, the people of Philadelphia, is for you to remember that I will never forget that out of crisis can come opportunity. With that being said, I'm going to sign the executive order, and then we're going to come back and answer any questions you may have. Dear, Vanessa, the whole team, Donna, Ron Hovey. No pressure, Ron, Procurement Commissioner, no pressure.
No pressure.
Where's Nadir? No pressure,
Where's
Nadir.
Lynn Newsome?
Is Lynn here?
I think I saw Lynn in the back.
Is she
She's
here? She is?
Have her come up.
Lynn,
There she goes.
you're lucky I didn't know you were over there because I would have come back there to get you. Come on over here with us. Lynn has been on the front lines of this work for a long, long time. Local and small businesses, help is on the way here in the city of Philadelphia. And these are the people who are going to get it started. Thank you.